I am Dana Dobias, and this is Project Media Equality. There are roughly 56 million Americans living with a disability, and yet barely any are represented, especially accurately in film and television and any other media productions. I may be just one girl that has a disability and a dream recording this, but I truly am trying to change the way that media represents those with different conditions and different abilities. Having cerebral palsy myself, I can see that not many people with disabilities are accurately portrayed in film and television and other media productions, and that really bothers me. First off, there are barely any characters on different movies and TV shows that are disabled, and when there is one, they're labeled merely as their disability. And that is something that I definitely want to change. People with disabilities have a life. I do have a life. I am not labeled by my disability, and my disability does not define who I am. And every time I see a character in a production that has a disability, they are defined and labeled as their disability. And I am not cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a part of who I am because I do have a walker. I do walk in a different way than other people, but cerebral palsy is not who I am. It's just something I have. And in media, every time there is a character with a disability, they are just seen as for their disability, not as a normal person who has thoughts and feelings that are completely unconnected to their condition. And that is so offensive in my opinion, because the media, everyone sees things in the media, and the media is portraying us as just our disability, and we are nothing else but the condition that we're living with. And people are believing that, the media is reaching out to so many people with this message that they're portraying people with disabilities this way, and the media reaches so many people, and people are buying into these stereotypes because the media ultimately is a huge influence on the way Americans think and see things. And being that we are portrayed in that way, other people think that we just are a disability because of the way the media portrays us. And also, when there are characters with disabilities on TV shows and in movies, they are oftentimes not even played by someone who is really disabled, which is something I also think is very offensive. There are so many people with disabilities, as I already mentioned, and how many of them do you actually see being successful in the industry of entertainment? Not very many. And one of my dreams is to always be an actress, and it still is one of my dreams, but one of the things that does hold me back is how there are not very many jobs. And something that I find very offensive is how there are completely able-bodied actors playing people in wheelchairs and with various conditions, because there are already very little amount of parts for people with different medical conditions. And then you finally have a part for them, and you throw in someone who is completely able-bodied who can get 1,000 other roles out there and audition for those. And that is so offensive, and to me that's just as offensive as having someone who's white play someone of a different nationality, and which is completely offensive. And to me it's the same exact thing, and you don't see that in the media, so why are you seeing completely able-bodied actors playing people and portraying these characters that have a disability? To me, that's not fair. It's completely unfair, especially with the amount of parts that actors and entertainers with different conditions have. There are barely any opportunities for us. I honestly don't understand why there can't be a movie or a TV show where the main character does have a disability, but the movie or TV show has nothing to do with their disability. Why can't there be a main character in a movie who has a walker or is in a wheelchair or has another condition, whether it be a physical disability or a mental disability? Why can't there be a main character who has a condition like that and no one says a thing about it? They have a walker, but it goes completely unsaid of why they have it, and there's no mention of it. Instead, they are just a character that has feelings and different problems in their life that are completely unrelated to the condition they have. Why can't someone with a wheelchair be on a TV show, and no one even talks about the wheelchair. They're just another student in the high school on the TV show. And they just face challenges with school and studying and whatever else is going on in the show, like every other character on the show. I don't understand why this can't happen. I really don't. Because in my life, people don't think of me as my disability. People think of me as who I am, which is Dana. And people don't look at me and think, oh, cerebral palsy. No, my name's Dana. I have a life. I have feelings. And I think that characters with disabilities should be represented as just a person and not a stereotype of their condition, because that does not mean that since you have CP or another condition, that does not mean you are that condition. So I would love to see a movie or a TV show where there is a main character that is not a supporting character, a main character who has a condition that is very visible, but they are just like everyone else and no one even says a thing about the condition. Because, like I said, people with disabilities, we don't just focus on, oh, I have a condition, my life sucks. No. We go out there, we do what we want, we act like everyone else, and I wish the media would portray us like that. Because in media, we are either people who have all these challenges, our lives suck, and we're completely unhappy with ourselves because we're disabled and we feel like we're worthless, or we're these big heroes because we've overcome something. And those two things, like, no one with disabilities like thinks about themselves like that. You're either this huge hero that overcame your challenges, and people do overcome their challenges, and people with disabilities are heroes, but we shouldn't always be portrayed in such extremes, because there are happy mediums. There are some people that they think their life sucks and they are unhappy with their disability. And there are some people that overcome so much and are heroes. But there is a happy medium that the media never sees. People who just get out there and enjoy their life and forget about their disability. They don't let that limit them or define them. And that's something that the media truly never ever covers. Another thing that is lacking in the media and the equality of people with disabilities in the media is modeling. There are some companies that do have people with various conditions that are visible, like they have a wheelchair, a walker, or leg braces, or something such as Down syndrome. And there are models and different things that do print ads with a condition that is visible. And I truly do respect the companies that do place those people in their ads, because I think that it is truly representing everyone. And I know the modeling industry is very unfair. It doesn't truly represent everyone. Everyone needs to have the same walk, very similar look, same body type, but there are people with disabilities, and I definitely think that they should also be included and represented in the modeling industry. And this is another thing. I am a huge fashion buff. I love fashion, and one day maybe I hope to have a career in fashion. And it disappoints me that every model that walks down a runway at Fashion Week all has the same exact walk, the same exact look, and I know that's part of modeling. But have you ever, I've never seen a model go down the runway with a walker or a wheelchair or wearing leg braces. That just because you have a walker or a wheelchair or wear leg braces or another type of difference does not mean you are not worthy of modeling clothes. It does not mean you're not worth being seen on a fashion runway. It doesn't mean you can't go down the runway. So what? You roll down with your walker or roll down in your wheelchair, or you rock that dress with your leg braces underneath. There should be models that do have a walker or a wheelchair or some kind of condition. And I think that that would be absolutely revolutionary if in one day during Fashion Week we would see someone go down the runway with their walker or their wheelchair and completely own that. How inspiring and how beautiful would that be if a company decided to take the risk and take the plunge and do that? Because think about how many people would be touched by that, and how many people with disabilities would appreciate that they are being represented as well. Because these models and the fashion industry and the modeling industry all has the same type of person, and not everyone is equally, represented by that. But there are never anybody with disabilities. There's people of all different nationalities and different body types as well. But never are there people with a wheelchair or a walker. And I think that that would be absolutely revolutionary if one time at Fashion Week we could see someone with a wheelchair or with a walker and completely own that runway and own what they're wearing. Because just because you're disabled doesn't mean you can't model. It doesn't mean that you can't go to Fashion Week and rock that amazing outfit and model it to everyone and, you know, be in the magazines. Because a disability doesn't change what you're modeling. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Why can't people with disabilities just fit right in and go ahead and be a model, walk down the runway? Over the years, the media has been making progress in including more characters into film and television who are either LGBT or are different nationalities, races, sexes, genders. And now I believe that it's time for the media to be more accepting of characters with disabilities and actors with disabilities. So I truly do thank you for watching this. I hope that you can help me out on this journey to change the way that media represents those with disabilities. Please share this video with everyone you know. Post it on different social media. Send it to different production companies. And I believe that together we can do this and really change the way that the media includes those who are different and have different abilities and different conditions. I really hope we can do this together, and I may just seem like one girl with a dream, but I truly believe that my dream can definitely change the world.